Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Lenny Reeb with USR Pro, and we want to share with you today a very exciting program. It's the Ultimate Real Estate Leveraging Opportunity. Now, with this program, you're going to get an opportunity to get your piece of the massive shift of money and profits that's happening right now in real estate. And folks, if you're not aware of it, there is a massive shift of money right now within the industry. Now, anyone willing to take action can effectively and efficiently tap into the multi-trillion-dollar distressed property business, and you'll be able to leverage yourself 100% through real estate professionals. Now, this is an opportunity with fast profits. We've had people who have made money in as early as a couple weeks, might take a couple months, but in the overall scope of things, that's pretty fast in today's market. Now, it's very affordable, both for the members that are getting on our team, for everybody involved, but more importantly, for the homeowners that need our help. This process is desperately needed. There's 35 million homeowners in America right now that need help with over-leveraged properties, so they're in desperate need of our help. It's totally recession-proof, whether the market's good or whether the market's bad, whether the economy is going up or down, or wherever the real estate market is. We know for a fact this works because we've been in the distressed property business for almost 20 years through several different cycles. Now, currently, we have over $3 million invested into our infrastructure. So we've spent a lot of money preparing this to make sure everything's functional, make sure everything works, and make sure everything is the way it needs to be. Now, we pay full commissions, and we revenue share on the profit spreads. And folks, the profit spreads are pretty big the way we set this up. We have a large private equity fund for purchasing power. We originally started off with a $100 million equity fund. We've now ramped it up to $200 million, and we're on the verge of signing some contracts right now to up that up to $4 billion in the equity fund. But currently, as we speak, it's at $200 million. Now, as far as our experience, we've done over $200 billion in closed real estate business. Now, we've done a lot of other types of businesses over the years, but in real estate, we're probably closer to about $250 billion in closed real estate. So suffice to say, we've done a lot of this, and we know the drill. Now, first thing I want to cover with you, and not to beat up on Wall Street or the banking system, because if you're in the real estate business, it's probably a sore subject with everybody. I know it is with everybody on our team, but folks, it just is what it is. Okay, so I'm only going to cover this stuff pretty quick, because just to bring you up to speed so you know a little bit about what we know. Now, fact number one, Wall Street has the money and they run the game. It's just a simple fact. Homeowners facing foreclosure are not at fault. The U.S. foreclosure epidemic has made Wall Street a massive amount of money. Wall Street banks have literally made trillions of dollars in commissions from credit default swap trading at the homeowner's expense. Major Wall Street banks have actually betted against the Americans. They bet against the homeowners paying back their mortgages, have made obscene profits from it. Now, if you think of the irony in there, it's the only industry on the planet where they can create a product, and a bad product at that, and they could sell that product, then they can deliberately destroy the product, and they get paid all the way around. At the end of the day, they get the taxpayers to pay a fund back to them. Okay, a lot of the same people they've been screwing, again, now they got them paying them back in the form of a bank, of a taxpayer-funded bailout program, and there's no end in sight. So they're continuing to make massive money. Give you an idea of what that's looking like. Bank bailout program has grown from over $700 billion in 2008 to over $16 trillion by 2011, and that's according to a U.S. Government Accountability Office audit. Okay, now, since it's an unregulated market, they know it was at least, in 2011, at least $16 trillion, but it could have been, with a lot of estimates, a lot of very sharp people said it could have been, at that point, already as high as $25 trillion. So once again, folks, I'm not telling you this to make you mad. I'm just bringing you up to speed. I'm not here to harbor on this. You know, we're finding, you know, we're part of the solution, not the problem. Just need to let you know what's going on. And to let you know, fact number two, we get paid to help the homeowners. We don't work with the banks. We do a lot of work with these major banks, but we don't work for them. We get paid to help the homeowners. Now, homeowners facing foreclosure have three basic options. The do nothing and continue waiting option, which unfortunately a lot of them have done that, are continuing to do that. The get free advice now and pay for it later, yeah. Well, I'm sure everybody knows how that works out, right? Free, you get what you pay for. And take action with proven professionals. And folks, this is always the best line of defense if you're going to be in anything dealing with the professional industry or dealing with real estate, especially if it's the roof over your head and over your family's head. Now let's take a look at the do nothing option, just to kind of cover some of this stuff. Now the homeowner's going to definitely get foreclosed on, and they're going to get evicted if they do nothing. It's a given. They're not going to be able to stay in there forever. The results from this decision are very costly. The homeowner can experience major credit reduction for many years, and they will experience that in a lot of different ways. I mean, it can be as severe or worse than a bankruptcy. Okay, they're going to they'll experience a negative effect on the quality of future housing. If they're out there looking to rent houses, by the time they get kicked to the curb and get evicted, then landlords aren't real excited these days in renting houses to people with bad credit. And if you got a fresh foreclosure and most likely a fresh eviction, you're going to be on the very bottom of those applications for review for any kind of a decent house, because as we speak, there's more people looking for nice houses than there are houses available. So landlords can afford to be very picky, which subsequently ends up putting people in neighborhoods typically that they don't want to live in. You know, neighborhoods where you might not want your kids out after dark. All right, so it ends up, putting you in a bad situation where you're renting from somebody who doesn't really care what your credit looks like, and there's typically a reason for that. Now, that can create unfavorable zoning for your children or for the homeowners' children's schools. Now they're going to schools in places they never wanted them to go to. They have after-school activities, or maybe they're getting involved in after-school activities that they didn't want them to get involved in. And I'm not painting an unrealistic picture here, folks. This is happening to good, hard-working families and homeowners that lost their homes. This is happening all over the country. Now, that credit hit, that foreclosure, and that eviction, it's not fair, but it is what it is. It will diminish their job opportunities for employment. If they're up for a raise, they might get kicked. They might lose that raise because now there's somebody in human resources looking, saying, whoa, they got a credit hit. And they absolutely look at credit. They figure they can judge the character or the quality of your character by seeing what your credit looks like. And if you got somebody making decisions for a company and they see somebody's has a foreclosure, an eviction, if they couldn't keep the roof over their head, they were unsuccessful at looking out for their own family, well, what's the odds that they're going to look out for the company? Once again, it's not fair. It just is what it is. So, increased deposits on future housing utilities. When the homeowner does eventually move, because of the credit hit, they're going to have to pay more for the utility term, and they might not even get it, no matter how much they're willing to pay. Then they have to go get utilities in other people's names. Big mess. So you start to see how a lot of people are experiencing some major difficulties and problems that they never really thought about. Okay, now personal and business accounts denied or canceled. This happens constantly. If you're in business for yourself, you definitely know what this is about. You may be living off of those business accounts, those rotating business accounts, for buying supplies, buying materials, maybe paying for overhead for a whole host of things. You can get them denied, you can get them canceled, you can have a whole bunch of different things. So for a homeowner to get foreclosed on and get evicted, just the inconvenience of moving is typically the tip of the iceberg. So banks, at the end of the day, can and a lot of times will obtain a deficiency judgment against the homeowner. To add insult to injury, they made a killing off the credit default swaps. They made a killing when they wrote the bad mortgage, when it was predatory lending. They made a killing during the entire time the property was in deficiency status, because they made more money for servicing, typically 2 to 3 times, sometimes 4 times more for servicing that loan than if it had been current. And now, and like I said, to add insult to injury, once they foreclose, they end up with a deficiency judgment against this homeowner, and they can come after them in years after that deficiency judgment has been filed. So let's look at option number 2, getting free counseling or free help. Ooh, that sounds scary, huh? Free consultation with attorneys claiming to be experts. You know, most claiming foreclosure defense are bankruptcy attorneys. You know, they're advertising they're foreclosure defense experts, but at the end of the day, 90% of them are actually just, you know, bringing people in, listening to their story, and then advising them that they should file bankruptcy in order to stop the foreclosure. Well, it doesn't really stop it. And typically after the first visit, for the homeowner, a very large retainer fee is required, and then they still going to have to pay a lot more money to file that bankruptcy. The homeowner's constantly required to pay additional money. They're still facing foreclosure after the bankruptcy is discharged. So they got a temporary stay, but they're still facing it after they spent all the money, after they filed the bankruptcy. Now that their credit is screwed, they're still facing the bankruptcy, or they're still facing foreclosure after the bankruptcy is discharged. So what happens now? They've got the double whammy on their credit. They've got the foreclosure, they've got the eviction, they've got the bankruptcy. Very bad option there. But you know what, folks? It happens all the time because the homeowners, they want to go see an attorney. They're going to meet with a family attorney. They're meeting with somebody that was referred to them. Turns out bankruptcy attorneys, not always the best choice. And I know for some people that may be a viable option, but typically it's not the best choice for somebody that's just looking to avoid a foreclosure. Okay, free help from government and nonprofit organizations. Well, we know that federal bank programs have proven to be ineffective. Just look at the news. I mean, it's a proven fact. They have failed dismally. And they usually end up, you know, the homeowners end up with a failing service that they have to pay for, by the way. It's supposed to be free, but it's usually not. It might be free to talk to somebody. It's free to get in, but you got to pay to get out. And what does it usually end up doing? It ends up failing, and so the homeowner's throwing more good money to bad. A lot of times they're working with unlicensed people that want these payments. These people typically are trying to talk them into doing a whole bunch of stuff, signing over their deeds, doing a whole bunch of interesting things that typically is not in the best, welfare for that homeowner. Okay, and once again, most of these programs very seldom stop or even slow down the foreclosure process, because while the homeowner's going through all these processes, that foreclosure is still running simultaneously. The clock's still ticking and is still moving forward. So once again, free usually ends up with a foreclosure. At the end of the day, it's typically what happens. So option number 3, getting help from real professionals. Now with our program, we can stop the foreclosure quickly and either buy the house or get the homeowner a principal and interest reduction. Our homeowner, will work directly with a professional foreclosure defense attorney, and we handle all the heavy lifting. So think about this. The homeowner gets to meet with a true professional foreclosure defense attorney and discuss their options prior to doing anything, and that always makes them feel better. And folks, these will be local attorneys that they can meet with. They get to meet with them in person. We found that over 90% of the mortgages written in the last 10 years have serious lender violations that can result in stopping the foreclosures. And I mean stopping them, not stalling them, but stopping them. A thorough chain of title analysis and a mortgage fraud investigation determines that the lender has the legal right to actually foreclose on the home. This forces the lender into a settlement, either giving a major principal and interest reduction or a deep discount for us to purchase the house. Now, on the home purchases through this process, we can legally get, and we will, we legally can and we will give the homeowner 20% of our profit spread, our net profit spread. Very powerful, very beneficial to the homeowner. This is if they decide they want to sell it. We buy it. We're going to buy it. We're going to resell it. We'll give them 20% of the net profit spread. So we can help them repair the homeowner's credit so they can get their life back on track and put an end to their harassing creditors. The same process that we use and the same principles that we use to help get the reduction, get the settlement, and do all the stuff with the bank, we can use that same information to turn around and help them repair their credit. Very strong process. Now, once again, just to reiterate, we're not wasting time on the, trying to bring you up to speed on all these problems and rehash a bunch of information that people already know. I'm just trying to kind of give you guys a good foundation of who we are, why we're doing this, and ultimately what's happening. We're focusing on the solution. Right? We're using the bank's own greedy agenda to help homeowners in foreclosure, facing foreclosure, or simply over-leveraged and they just want to get a reduction in their principal and their interest. Now, we do this through a process. And, folks, a promissory note must have a clear chain of title. I'm not going to give you a legal class here and get into a lot of the complexities of what we do. And it's pretty complex, and there's a lot of spinning plates. But just to kind of summarize it, okay, if the promissory note doesn't have a clear chain of title according to the United States Uniform Commercial Code, then they're not going to be able to move forward on the foreclosure. So we order a debt validation letter from the lender to prove legal standing, and if they're the real party of interest, usually they're not, and if they're not, they don't have the right to foreclose. We perform a securitization audit to track down the loan, then provide a court-admissible document showing that the loan has been securitized by selling it to other major banks and institutional investors, and now it no longer belongs to the lender. This is known as bifurcation. The deed of trust points to one party while the promissory note points to another. And if the relationship between the deed and the note has become defective, it renders the deed of trust unenforceable and the bank can't legally foreclose on the house. Now, I've just covered pretty complex and thorough process about as quickly as I can, but just want to give you some pointers in case you've never heard of any of this before. Now, our key program, Stop Lender Abuse Program, is called a SLAP program. This is very powerful. This is where we bring our attorneys to bear. We bring them in, we represent the homeowner, and we go after these banks. Very successful program as well. So whether the homeowner is keeping or selling the property, we have an investor consultation where they actually meet with us and we talk to them. And we talk to them about options and several different potential scenarios, buying, keeping, whatever that is in their best interest. So we give them multiple strategies and multiple offers. Okay, we do a chain of title analysis and a mortgage fraud investigation. Direct representation with a foreclosure attorney. They get to meet with them. They get to talk to them. They get to understand what's ahead of them. This is prior to them spending any money or doing anything or hiring our team in any capacity. Okay, we do a debt validation letter. And then so that's ordered from the homeowner's lender. And I'll get into a lot of this stuff here in a minute so you can get a better idea of what's going on with it. We do a property valuation and title analysis. We do a credit report audit. That way we can potentially check and see who might be messing around with these homeowners' credit, because when they're facing foreclosure, I hate to say it, guys, but their information is out there. And once their information's out there, they're susceptible once again, as if they haven't experienced enough pain through the banks and everything. Now they're susceptible to a whole host of other predators out there that want to steal their identity and do a whole bunch of different things and screw with their credit in a multitude of ways. So we end up doing an audit on that for them as well, right? We do an identity theft check and protection. So we have a whole process in place to help them in a whole multitude of different ways, right? Then we have a financial planning consultation. Now that we've helped them out, we bought their house, helped them keep their house, whatever the case is, as we're working with them in all these different capacities, then we want to talk to them and try to help them out for the future, give them a clear path to run on, so they don't re-experience these same problems in the future. So, the SLAP program, bank settlement for homeowners keeping the property, principal reduction. Usually we're going to get it down to about 80% of the current fair market value of that property. If they owe $200, the house is only worth $100. We typically are going to get their reduction down to about $80,000. 80% of the current, not the unpaid balance, but the current fair market value. We typically get them an interest reduction, usually somewhere between 2 to 3%. And that's a fixed rate, by the way, 30 to 40-year fixed rate mortgage. Not another exploding mortgage, not an adjusted rate mortgage, something that's going to blow up on them. Because, a lot of times with different loan mod programs and what have you, it's just another trap that's set to screw these people again in the future. This is a fixed rate. It's controllable. They know what they have, and, sustainable. Okay, now we pay you $375 on a process like this. If a homeowner's coming to us and they choose to go this route, we know none of us make a whole lot of money in this, but it's worth it. It's goodwill, and we like to help homeowners keep their house if that's what they want, and that's what we can do. All right, if that's the game plan, if that's what they want to do, we're going to absolutely help them do it. And folks, it's real important. A lot of times I get people, they'll ask me, well, what do we get to gain by it? If we're not buying it, there's not a profit spread, we're not revenue sharing. Well, at the end of the day, goodwill. We're helping these homeowners keep their house, and of course, you're going to get $375 for doing something that, we should be doing anyway, right? Now, but there's also some other things that come back. I hate to say ulterior motive, but for a lot of these homeowners, once they clearly see the light at the end of the tunnel and they actually realize that they're going to be able to keep their house, a large portion of them end up deciding they want to sell it anyway. They start thinking about those other offers. They start thinking about the 20% of the profit spread. They start thinking about maybe walking away because they were probably thinking about that beforehand anyway. They already had a plan B. They were already thinking about downsizing, maybe moving. And in some cases, folks, they've already moved. So even though you got $375 up front for that, a lot of times that will turn into them wanting to sell, and then the slap bank settlement for homeowners selling their property kicks in. Now you get to make the big bucks. All right, our private equity fund purchases these properties at a deep discount. Okay, it's typically going to be about 70% if we do a short sale, and yes, we still do short sales. We've done a whole lot of them. We've been doing them for almost 20 years. Sometimes it's the better process, but we focus on our SLAP program, but we still do short sales. We've been very successful with that. So if we're doing a short sale, we're typically going to get it for about 70% of fair market value. If we're going to use the SLAP program, where we're bringing our attorneys in and doing the fraud investigation and everything else, we're generally going to get a settlement, and we're going to get it for about 50% of the actual fair market value of the property. Now, when we resell it, we can legally pay the homeowner 20% of the net profit if it's a SLAP process, if we're using our stop lender abuse program, because we're working with asset managers in a different part of the bank. It's not a short sale, and in that capacity, we can pay that homeowner 20% of the net profit. If it turns out the short sale is the best way to go, and sometimes it is for a variety of reasons, then typically we can get some relocation money for the homeowner, but we can't pay them the 20%. If it's a short sale, we pay them the 20% if it's the SLAP deal. And of course, we pay you 50% of the net USR office profit spread. So what we take in at the office, the net profit we take in, we give you 50% of it. If you're an agent or broker, you can get 2 commissions on top of that. We pay up to 6% on the wholesale purchase and up to 6% on the retail sale on the back end. So for agents and brokers, they got the ability to make 2 full commissions. And so this, as you can see, this is starting to really look pretty strong, and it is strong, right? 50% of the net profit we take in at the office, double commissions for agents and brokers. And when you think about this, why is this so powerful for real estate agents? Why do real estate agents and brokers gravitate toward wanting to work with us? Huge reason. We're doing the heavy lifting. We've got the cash to buy the properties. We're doing all the hard stuff. We're doing all the negotiations. They don't have to worry about us, getting tired of them trying to struggle through getting some kind of a discount. We're handling it. They don't have to worry about getting to the finish line 9 months or 10, 12 months from now and finding out the buyer's bailed on them, or the buyer, their credit got messed up and they no longer can qualify for the loan because we're paying cash from our equity fund. Very, very powerful for these agents and brokers, okay? But getting back to the basics, what do we really do? We're here helping homeowners fight back, okay? Everyone facing foreclosure in America needs professional help. This is a given. Millions have been severely abused by our banking industry. Absolutely been abused, and they're going to continue to be abused. So they're going to need us in this capacity for a long time, because there is no legislation coming down the pike, folks, to change this. And as a matter of fact, just the contrary. All the legislation and the new laws that have been passed in the last half dozen years have been to protect and create a protective shield around the major banks, the too big to fail banks on Wall Street, so they can continue to plunder, right? They are now federally protected. So what we've been experiencing is it's permanent on the financial landscape of real estate in this country. So if the millions have been severely abused by our banking industry, that's going to continue. People are going to need us to help them for a long time. So we're taking a stand to help homeowners before it's too late. We know what the banks did, and we know how to fix it. We're not going to take chances with anybody's house. We don't let people become victims of Wall Street. Let's put it this way. They are victims, but we're going to fix that. We're going to help them get past that and help them get out of that trap. Right, folks? And you got an opportunity to help us do this and make a big difference, right? These people need to know their rights, and they need to know their options. You can get them connected with our USR Pro team right now. And you can leverage yourself through our network of real estate professionals and get paid to help. More importantly, you can strategically leverage yourself for a lot more money. Now I'm going to get into this. And this, for me, is one of the most exciting portions or components to this entire program, because this is where you can have an opportunity to make some serious residual income, right? You're going to get 100% leverage through real estate professionals, right? You're going to have the real estate agents and brokers bringing you the deals on the front end, and we're going to teach you and show you how to do this every step of the way. So this isn't going to be up to you to figure this out. We have figured this out. We've been doing this for a long time. We've built massive national networks. And we're going to show you how to do this. Very simple. Real estate agents and brokers bringing you in the deals on the front end. Your USR Pro team, we're taking care of all the heavy lifting on the back end, including negotiations, buying, purchasing the properties. You're going to get, your piece of the revenues of the profit spread. So this is what I'm talking about, leveraging yourself for more money. So it's not up to you. If you work smart, we're going to show you how to work smart, 100% leverage through real estate professionals. We do the heavy lifting for you and your agents, and that's one of the reasons the agents get so excited, and that's one of the reasons they keep on bringing you back deals, deal after deal after deal, right? You make phone calls, and you get agents bringing you deals. Just that simple. Can you do that? Can you pick up the phone? And can you call a real estate agent who is trying to sell a piece of property? They've got it listed on the MLS. They've got it listed in magazines. They're the middleman, not you. They're the salesperson, not you. You're the buyer, right? They're spending money to advertise. They're on the sidelines, folks. They're waving their hands. They're saying, hey, I got this piece of property. I need to sell it because this homeowner's facing foreclosure, and they're getting pretty aggravated. I got a timeline running here. Please come buy it. Well, guess what? That's exactly what we're going to do. We're going to get it under contract. We're going to negotiate it down. We're going to purchase it. It's going to be a cash deal. That real estate agent's got the ability to make 2 commissions, but more importantly, the deal's not going to fall through the crack, and that homeowner is not going to just accidentally end up getting foreclosed on, because now they've got professionals handling everything. All right, so more phone calls, more agents bringing you deals. Real simple. Every time you call an agent, they got a deal. But we'll teach you all this. I'm simplifying it now. Obviously, there's a little more to this, but we're going to explain it. We've been doing this for a long time. I've got the best in the business that's going to be teaching you this process. All right, one of my partners that's going to be working with, his name is Doug Norton. Doug has been paid we've had hundreds of people that have paid Doug as much as $20,000 to $30,000 to mentor them in the distressed property business, more specifically short sales. And what we're doing now is way beyond short sales. So Doug's going to be there with you every step of the way. Doug's revenue sharing in the deal with us, and that's where his real incentive is for working with you. But he's a phenomenal mentor, right? So we're going to help you expand your area of operation. You can be living in Miami and doing deals in Seattle. You could be living in Boise, Idaho, and doing deals in Phoenix and LA, New York. You can do deals all over the country. You're only limited by how far you can call on your telephone. right? Real simple. Expand your area of operations. More agents equals more deals. More agents and deals equals a lot more money, okay? So highly effective leveraging equals serious residual income. Now I'm going to give you a little diagram here to give you an idea of what that looks like. And folks, this is just a simple little conservative, plan here. 6 months to serious residual income. Now each one of these little people is a real estate agent. You can see the little girl holding up a house. So 4 of them there. Now if you're making phone calls on a daily basis and you're calling agents, even if you're just connecting with one real estate agent, which by the way, remember, they're trying to sell the property and you are the buyer. So I'm telling you this because I want you to understand this is a very simple conversation. It's not difficult. You're not trying to sell them. It's their job to sell you. So you should be able to clearly see if you're making phone calls every day, you're calling several agents that have these distressed property listings. Maybe they have it listed as a short sale. They use a whole bunch of different terms, but you're calling them as a viable real buyer. Then you should easily get a deal a day to where they want to work with, they want to talk to you, they want to start moving forward. But let's say that deal a day, that potential deal a day, turns out to be one real deal a week. And I'm telling you folks, this is very conservative. I picked up the phone and had many, many, many deals inked in just a couple hours worth of work. All right, and I can do that every single day, and we can teach you how to do that every single day. Because remember, no matter what the real estate distressed property landscape looks like in your neighborhood, and there's probably a lot more there than you think, you're not limited to your neighborhood, and you can do it all over the country. So with this little plan here, let's say in month number 1, you've got 4 deals, right? So now in month number 2, you're still making phone calls, right? You're calling agents. You're going to get 4 more deals, and remember, these are very conservative, as I explained. But those first agents that you brought on board with those deals in the first month, now they're excited. They're excited because they've got a buyer with deep pockets. They got a buyer that can negotiate the deals. They've got a buyer that can make them a lot of money because we can buy their listings. So in your second month, you brought on 4 more new deals, 4 more new agents that brought a deal to you, where you got it under contract. In the month before, those agents have now brought you an additional deal. So month number 2, you got 8 deals here. 4 new ones from you making phone calls, and 4 from the 4 agents from the previous month. Now what do we have? Month number 3. All right? Now you've got a dozen deals moving forward. You're still making your phone calls. You're still doing your daily thing. You're still getting your deal a week. You're talking to agents about several deals every day, but you're getting a solid deal a week. You got your 4 deals in the 3rd month. And the agents that you brought on, now they've all brought you another deal. Remember, each month, the agents you bring on this month are going to be bringing you deal after deal after deal. And I've contracted with agents, folks, that have turned around and brought me a dozen deals within the first week. So it's very realistic for an agent to go under contract, helping you get a deal under contract, moving forward with it. It's extremely conservative and extremely realistic that they can bring you a good, solid deal each month. They're most likely going to bring you a lot more than that. So what are we looking at? Month number 3, a dozen deals. Month number 4, 16. 16 deals in 4 months. Your 4 new agents, the 12 from the month before. You start seeing how this starts really lining up here. Right? These are very conservative, but it's very realistic. Your agents are averaging a new deal, bringing it to you every month. You're averaging getting 4 more new agents every month. You can start seeing how this is building up, right? Month number 5, 20 deals. Month number 6, 24 deals. Now, is this going to happen for everybody? Absolutely not. Some people are going to have a little paralysis of analysis. They're going to kind of, they're going to do a deal. They're going to ask some questions. They're going to be, kind of slow to move forward. Some people are going to take off like rocket ships. and they're going to get 24 deals in the first couple months. But folks, if you didn't pick up the phone and make another phone call after 6 months, if you look at this plan, these agents, these 24 agents now that you got on board here in your first 6 months, they're going to continue to keep bringing you deals, even if you stop reaching out. But you're not going to stop. This is fun. When did you have the ability to have a checkbook in your back pocket with $2 million or $200 million attached to it, soon to grow a lot bigger than that, where you could be out there writing checks for homes, because that's the equivalent of what we're talking about here. Being in this program, you are now a super home buyer. A super home buyer. You got the ability, you're our partner, you're the point person on this team, and you got the ability to bring us all kinds of deals. All those deals that are good deals, we will buy them. Right, we're not going to kick anything to curb ever because we're running out of money or because we spent our allotment that month. That's not going to happen. Right, we got $200 million in that fund that's available to us now, and we've got $4 billion backing it up. And we could up that ante. We could up that ante as far as we want. So, we're creating. We have we have a home purchasing machine. You can be a part of it. This little graph, this little chart here just gives you an idea of how that exponentially starts growing. And this is serious residual income. Once again, you're leveraging yourself 100% through professionals, agents and brokers on the front end, and your USR Pro team on the back end. This is how you make huge money. Look at this month number 6 here with 24 deals. What if you were just averaging $10,000 per deal? And you could be making a lot more than that. Your share could be a lot more. What if you were just averaging $10,000 per deal? There's 24 deals there. 24 deals a month. That's $240,000 in your pocket in 1 month. So you see, you don't have to make a killing on every deal. You just have to have your own personal network of real estate professionals bringing you multiple deals. This gets pretty exciting. So there's a couple points to consider when the confusion starts. And folks, confusion will set in, I know. It's a lot to think about. Some of you are probably following me very, very easily, and you're probably finishing my sentences, you're finishing my statements as you're watching this, because you've been down this path and you know what's going on. A lot of you, this might be brand new information for the first time. But I know when you start thinking of all these different processes and functionalities and spinning plates, confusion can set in. It can be very complicated, but it doesn't have to be. When you get in and you start working with us, you will find out that it's extremely simple. So folks, after more than $200 billion in closed deals, we know the drill. We know how to do this. We know if we don't make it simple, it's not going to be duplicatable. And if it's not duplicatable, you guys aren't going to be able to be effectively out there and efficiently out there bringing us in the deals, and we don't continue with this massive home buying process, right? So it's going to be simple. So don't get overwhelmed here. This is going to be very simple. We're going to teach you how to work smart, how to work effectively, and how to work efficiently. We have a nationwide team of expert foreclosure defense attorneys, right? We're highly experienced in banking and large-scale mortgage operations. We have the nation's leading mortgage fraud investigation team. This is huge. We help over-leveraged homeowners facing foreclosure or not. Maybe they're over-leveraged and they just want to rectify that, but we help homeowners that are over-leveraged and facing foreclosure all over America. We help get major principal and interest reductions on over-leveraged homes. We help homeowners get their credit and their financial situation back on track. We pay you serious money every time we help a homeowner get justice. All right, so these are the key things that you're going to want to think about. It's just that simple. Once you get on board and you're working with us, you're going to see that it's just this simple. So the next big thing in real estate is right here, right now. Right? How many times have you researched or wondered what is the next big thing in real estate? Folks, this is it. It's right here, right now. You can make some serious money with us. join our network and find out, and join our team and really get to understand what we're doing and be part of this. This is decision time, and one of three things is typically going to happen. Okay? You'll join, and you'll help us continue to make it happen. You will help us continue to fight the good fight and help these homeowners, and you'll make a lot of money at the same time. 2, you'll decide to sit it out, maybe sit on the fence, or maybe just kind of sit it out, and you'll watch it happen. 3, you won't even make a decision. You'll just kind of sit there and maybe just wait around. You won't even commit. And you'll end up wondering what would have happened had you taken action. And to me, that's the worst thing, is always wondering, what if I had taken action? Okay? Choice is yours. So, folks, make it a good one.